Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad. I'm Steve, and this is our November installment for our October update. All right, we got a lot done in October. I mean, we installed the accessory electrical bus lines for lighting and other accessories throughout the railroad, and that allowed us to add lighting to some of our buildings. We're not near done, but we've got a good start on the lighting, and you'll see that as we progress through the update. Now the next part was, well, let's just take a cab ride and give you a quick view of what's happening on the Retirement Railroad. All right, we leave rural Illinois and head into Chicago, going underground, approaching the north end of Union Station. You can see in Union Station from right to left the California Zephyr, the City of Los Angeles, and the Santa Fe Chief. We'll bypass the station, exiting out on the south side, heading out across the Chicago River and down towards Joliet and Lockport. Across the swing bridge, you can see in LaGrange the Vulcan Material Plant, which is part of the federal quarry. Now you'll see a tunnel off to your right that passes through the cliffside into the other side of the quarry, going underneath the old Route 66. Then we come back past the Great Lakes grain elevator and across the Des Plaines River. But first we see the Chicago stockyards off there to the left, and one of numerous rail yards in and around the Chicago area. This is just one of many cab rides that we'll be doing over time. Now let's take a look at some of the updates. We worked hard on the meatpacking plant in Chicago stockyards. You can see a Santa Fe switcher there, and some of the Hereford cattle and pigs waiting to be processed. There's also a Burlington reefer and a wholesale food distributor's truck waiting for the finished product. And you can see some swinging beef hanging there on the loading dock. You also see the lights are on and they're busy slaughtering the cattle. Okay, as we move on, we can cross over and take a closer look at the Vulcan Material Plant. Okay, they're busy harvesting limestone from the federal quarry, and they'll grind it up into good road base for this railroad and other gravel related products. Also in the Lockport industrial area is the Texaco refinery. Busy burning off the excess gas and unloading some railroad tanker cars there to the left, while sending out processed gasoline to the local filling stations throughout the Chicago area. Now we have the Great Lakes grain elevator, which sits right on the Chicago Sanitary Ship Canal, which also connects to Calumet Harbor and the Illinois River heading down to the Mississippi. Here we have a shot below the meatpacking plant and stockyards. Notice the blood-stained cliffside and the gondola filled with hides that will be shipped out for tanning and processing. The last thing is the harbor itself, which will eventually have the pipeline there in orange from the refinery that will go to loading and unloading stations for the barges that service up and down the Illinois River to the Mississippi River, and also connects to the Lake Michigan through the Chicago Harbor in Calumet City. So thus, the scrap steel that can also be loaded there once the gantry, the big crane is put into place, and grain can be loaded on barges for shipment down the river to the port of New Orleans and loaded for export. So that kind of gives you a feel of some of the work we've got done here on the Retirement Railroad. Again, if you look just to the right of the grain elevator, you can see the tower where the excess gas at the refinery is being burned off. All right. That's just a fun way to look at the updates to the railroad. We did concentrate on what I call the Lockport Industrial District, the harbor, and the meatpacking plant. We still have a lot of work to do in those areas before we move on to downtown Chicago and the engine facilities. There's two different engine facilities, one with a turntable and a roundhouse. Then there's Downers Grove, the Fairview area, where you'll see eventually see the Heinz Lumber Yard and Pepperidge Farm Bakery. And growing up as a child, waking up in a cold morning and walking outside with a slight northerly breeze, you get the smell of that cinnamon bread being baked at the Pepperidge Farm Bakery. So, good childhood memories. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some run-bys. Let you take a look and see what you think. Now, keep in mind the track was dirty. You know, there's all kinds of debris from working on it. Didn't have a chance to clean it before I shot some of these videos. You'll see a 280 consolidated steam locomotive, CB&Q, that I just got back. It's a Broadway Limited, and it was brand new in May, and I ran it for short periods of time, 3 times. And the decoder went out. Sent it off for repair, and 13 weeks later I just got it back, and this was really its first run-in session. So, but it had a couple issues. The track had a couple issues, but I'm still impressed with it. It's a heck of a model. So let's take a look at some of these run-bys. All right, Chicago Zephyr leaving Union Station, headed across the bridge through the Lockport Industrial District. And there we have the Lockport Industrial District and the Vulcan Materials Plant with a 2 GP35 consist hauling a Burlington coal train from the coal fields of central and southern Illinois. And another Burlington Zephyr passing by. And here comes that Burlington coal train across the swing bridge. And once again, another Zephyr. This one's a shorter one. And looped back across the river. Another view of the coal train passing under the bridge section that extends the lot and the highway and the lot from the meatpacking plant. Still have some I-beams to put on it and some girder sides. Well, now we jump forward and we've got the 280 consolidated pulling the Burlington Blackhawk. The Blackhawk ran between Chicago and Minneapolis-St. Paul. Also during the month of October, we finished up the sidings for the Lockport Industrial District over there, where you see the grain elevator and the gravel works. Finished up laying the track for those two and the control panel that allows me to isolate the power to those 4 sidings. In addition to that, we got the 2 sidings done that service the stockyards and the meatpacking plant, and the control panel for isolating those sidings as well. Yeah, it looks like the BLI 280 jumped the tracks on me a little bit, but that's okay. We're just getting her run in, and my track work's not bulletproof yet anyway. There's a lot of work to be done tuning that track over on that section. Blackhawk is a smoking. Considering how tight some of my corners are and some of my grades, which are planned at about 2%, but I'm not the best in shaving down foam, so there's some that jump up to 3% briefly. And having those on curves escalates the process, exacerbates the process and the problems an engine can have pulling a load up. But the 280 there doesn't seem to have a problem. Okay, I'm gonna wind this these rail fanning down a bit, and should be coming swinging around here. One last profile look down on the end. There it is. All right. Okay, as you can see, we made some great progress on the retirement railroad. And about midway through October, I started a series, the tips of the day, and that's kind of a double-edged sword because it forces me to do something every day. But I've got about a week in advance in the hopper, so I can take a day off every now and then. So I hope you enjoyed this November installment showing the progress we made throughout the month of October. And there's all kinds of future projects to work on. Lighting is one big one. Computer. Right now I'm running the railroad JMRI off of Surface Pro. I need to get a new, better computer with better graphics capabilities so I can utilize all the cameras I have. Because I've got 4 extra cameras I can switch them up amongst if once I get a computer and USB lines capable of handling it. Anyway, that's here nor there. As I said before, I want to thank you for joining me here on the Retirement Railroad, and I hope you have a good, happy modeling day. Y'all take care. Bye.